and what is your main job here?
My name is Lance Smith. I'm the president and owner of Vermont Sports Car.
What was your vision of the company?
When the company first started, one of the goals was to be involved in motorsports and particularly to drive race cars and rally cars. And I had thought originally that that's the way it would go. But now our focus is to help other people get involved in the sport.
What or who was your inspiration for this job?
Over the years, I worked for people that were involved in motorsports, and they inspired me to follow my dreams with sports. So it was between a gentleman named Tivy Shenton, a guy named John Buffum, who works here now with us, who was many times national champion, and my brothers who believed in my dream of motorsports.
What do you love about your job?
The feeling of driving, and it doesn't matter if it's a car or a dirt bike or a four-wheeler or even skiing or anything. It's that feeling when you're on the very edge of control, when you get out there and you in rallying, it's coming over a crest and you don't know exactly what's going to happen next. I like being there and actually owning a business like that. You're there every day, even as a business owner.
What's the most challenging thing about your job?
Trying to keep everybody going in the same direction. So now there's 50 of us plus, and keeping everybody focused on what the real goal is, and making sure our sponsors are happy, and everybody's safe, and we're continuously getting our cars better. Those are challenges.
Why did you choose Subaru Rally instead of a different car company?
Actually, Subaru chose us. Sometimes you don't get a choice. Subaru was new when I got involved, they were new into rallying in the United States, and we built a very good relationship together. And I can honestly say, after all these years, I don't think there's a better manufacturer to be with. So we fit Vermont Sports Car and Subaru. If you were to look at the weather most days here in Vermont, the sports car is a Subaru. So it's a natural fit for the two of us.
What car do you drive?
I have a Subaru WRX. That's what I drive. So I have one specifically made to do road rallies on the normal roads, calculation rallies. That's what I drive.
What is your favorite car and why?
Whatever our latest car is, it's my favorite. So we now have a rallycross car at over 600 horsepower, and the engineering that's gone to it and the work that's gone into it from our guys and people involved in Vermont Sports Car is amazing to me, and that's the one. Every year there's a new one. So.
What's your name, and can you explain what you do here?
My name is Chris Yandel. I am the marketing manager here at Vermont Sports Car. The role of marketing manager basically means I'm in charge of all the marketing of the company, advertising and promotion and public relations.
How did you become interested in this job?
When I was younger, I knew about the sport that this company was involved in, rally racing, and I was a fan of the sport. And by being a fan of the sport, I knew about this company, about Vermont Sports Car, and they were basically the best team in the sport. And so I became a fan of this company, and I was going to college for marketing and decided to try to combine my passion, which was racing, like I was a fan of racing, and my education, which was marketing, and tried to get a job here, and I got a job here, so it worked out okay.
How long have you been working for this company?
I started here working at Vermont Sports Car in late 2001. So it's 17 years roughly.
All right. How did you find out about this job, like specific?
So I found out about Vermont Sports Car just from being a fan of rallying. So as a fan, I would go to a race, and you kind of learn the sport and what teams are involved, and did some research and just learned who Vermont Sports Car was. At the time, there wasn't, my job didn't exist at the time in the company, so it wasn't like I saw the job and help wanted to add, and that's how I did it. It didn't quite exist. So I kind of had to convince the owner of the company that he needed to have that job at his company.
All right. What do you like best about your job?
The things I like best about my job are how different every day is, and we do a lot of different projects, so it's not the same thing every day. We're doing races all over the world. We're doing special projects. We're doing building different cars, developing different cars, so it's different all the time. The other thing I really like is just the challenge of being in the environment of a sport. So you win and you lose, and you have to put an effort to try to win, and it's not like your normal job. Here it's a team effort, and you win some, you lose some, and there's a big satisfaction to winning.
All right. What kind of car do you drive?
I have a Subaru WRX wagon, and I have a Subaru Forester XT. I drive the Forester XT more than the WRX now because I have kids and I can't fit them in my WRX.
All right. What's your favorite car and why?
I gotta think about that one. Okay. Honestly, my favorite car, and this is going to sound, it may sound odd, is the rallycross car that our company just finished building 2 weeks ago that is now testing in the south somewhere at a track. It is the most spectacular, most highly engineered car that I've ever seen in person and ever been involved with. And I'll never get to drive it, and hopefully I'll get to sit in it. But yeah, our latest rallycross car is absolutely my favorite car, like above anything else. And when you ask me that question, I try to think, what like road car? I'm into Porsches, and I'm into a few Subarus as well. But when I really think about it, the car that we just built is spectacular. So that'd be my favorite car, and we actually call it a VT18X is the name of it, and it's our latest 600 horsepower rallycross car that we just built.
What's your name, and can you explain what you do here?
My name is Charlie Jerry. I'm the rally shop manager at number 1 on David Higgins' car, the car behind me. So I'm basically in charge of making sure everything goes smoothly here and mechanically on the car when we're on event.
How did you become interested in this job?
I started watching rallying when I was 8 or 9 years old, and it's insane. It's a crazy thing to watch. So I started to follow it online, in the infancy of online, because this is a long time ago. And eventually started working at a shop that had a race car, so I could work on the race car. That's the whole reason I wanted to work there. And I've just come up and gone further and further with it as I've gotten older.
How long have you been working for this company?
I started working for this company as a contractor about 5 years ago. And then a little over a year ago, I came in full-time and started working full-time.
How did you find out about this job?
I've been in the industry with another group of people, competitors actually, and it's a really tight community. So we all kind of hung out at the end of the day and stuff. So I got to meet a bunch of people. I just kind of fell into it from that.
What do you like best about your job?
I like that it's constantly changing. I don't go to an office every day and sit behind a cubicle and look at a computer. I'm on the road, I'm traveling, I've been to China, I've been all over the United States, so it's a really exciting field to be in.
What's the most challenging thing about your job?
It's a ton of responsibility, because if I don't do my job correctly and and the car fails, or the driver's not happy, or he doesn't do well, it's a lot of weight on the shoulders, so that's the hardest part.
How did you learn the skills for this job?
I started taking apart bicycles and toasters and TVs when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and then I got into cars and motorcycles, so I've always kind of had an interest in mechanics.
What kind of car do you drive?
I have depends on what day it is. I have a race car I built. I have a Toyota pickup I drive every day, and I had a Miata too for the fun days, a convertible for the fun summer
What's
days.
the race car you built?
It's a 93 Impreza hill climb car, so it's roughly based on a rally car, but it's a lot higher horsepower.
Okay, what's your favorite car and why?
Probably a Mark II Ford Escort, which is the classic rear-wheel drive rally car from the late 70s and early 80s. There's just something about them that's just really cool.
What's your name, and can you explain what you do here?
Sure. My name's Lucas Pelcher. I work here at VSC doing parts coordinating. We do a lot of the purchasing. We do a lot of logistics, shipping. We help with the builds of the cars, stuff like that. Yeah.
How did you become interested in this job?
I've always been interested in motorsport. I got into Subarus maybe when I was like 17, 18 years old. And it just so happens that the biggest Subaru motorsport program in the world is in the town that I grew up in. So it kind of was a perfect fit. And I applied here a bunch of times and they finally hired me. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it.
How long have you been working for this company?
Just over 3 years now. Just over 3 years, yep.
How did you find out about this job?
Vermont sports car has always been kind of well known around Vermont. Like, you know, Vermont's a small enough state. I had just kind of word of mouth known about them, and when I was younger, I came by a couple times for a tour. So, yeah.
What do you like best about your job?
It's cool coming to work every day, getting paid to do a job where ultimately you're passionate about it. You know, we get to see some of the coolest rallycross cars in the world, and it's kind of right in our backyard. So,
What's the most challenging thing about your job?
I'd say coordinating with all the different departments can be challenging at times. We have 8 or 9 departments in the building with between a couple to 15 people in each of them. It can be a pretty big deal.
How did you learn the skills for this job?
I did go to school for business management technology here at VTC, but a lot of the skills I've learned, people in the building were kind enough to teach me.
What kind of car do you drive?
I do drive a Subaru Impreza, so yeah.
What's your favorite car and why?
That's a pretty big question. Man, I don't know. That's the toughest one you've asked me so far, I'd say. I'm a big Subaru fan, but I gotta say, the new stuff that McLaren is doing are all pretty impressive right now. I guess the P1, if I had to pick one, even though they're coming out with the Senna soon too, so very impressive cars, I'd have to say.
What's your name, and can you explain what you do here?
My name's Nick Carter, and I'm the Fab Shop Manager here at Vermont Sports Car. And we pretty much build all the rally cars, rallycross cars. Have some help in design and engineering.
How did you become interested in this job?
Well, I've been here 9 years almost, and I kind of got a call from a friend that saw something I built, and I got an offer to come check it out, and been here ever since.
How long have you been working for this company?
Just about 9 years.
What do you like best about your job?
The freedom of building stuff we definitely have a lot more freedom versus like working for a big company.
What's the most challenging thing about your job?
Timelines.
What's your favorite car and why?
They're all pretty good. I like rally though. Rally's pretty interesting. Stage roads.
What kind of car do you drive?
Right now I have a Suzuki SX4, but I did have an '06 SDI for a while.